Alright. I think we're live. Hello, hello. So last time, I basically ran into a problem with geometry collection components, and what was happening was when I was going to reset them, it would just cause a Unreal Engine crash, and I was like, huh, like, you know, no big deal, I'll just like open up the debugger in Visual Studio, track it down, fix it. Well, wasn't that simple. I spent probably the last 25 to 30 hours, I would imagine, tracking down like the cause of this. Some might say that was just like overkill for this kind of problem, which in retrospect probably, but I was like making progress every time that I went in and made a change to my code, and it got to the point where I was like, I'm in too deep, might as well just like figure out what's doing it, and I could fix it. Apparently this problem doesn't happen in earlier versions. It's only like 5.3 that it became an issue, so it might be patched by 5.4, I don't know. But essentially what was happening was when this got destroyed and the bridge collapsed, the round would reset. And what I would do is call this function here, this set rest collection, right, on the geometry component, which this should, in theory, go into it, reset the dynamic collection, which is what a geometry collection component uses for that like breakable like physics. And it does the register for us, it applies all the default settings, everything looks good, and it works until you try to break it. That's where the problems start. You get this error called like pull physics state or something, and from what I gathered, it was essentially trying to grab the transforms of the broken physics on some type of like tick interval, and when you reset it, you only reset the dynamic collection. You didn't reset something called the PhysicsProxy, which I was like, what the hell's a PhysicsProxy? And that led me down like more paths to figure out like, okay, so how do I reset a PhysicsProxy? Like, what's the purpose of that, etc., etc. Long story short, I found pretty much like the least amount of code that you can write to get this successfully working here. And the way you have to do it, or at least the way I had to do it, was you have to create your own custom geometry collection component so you can get access to this functionality in order to do this properly. So what we're doing here is when we want to reset the geometry collection and have it be breakable and have like events happen, etc. We have to turn off collision, and we have to get the current PhysicsProxy, right? We have to check to see if it's valid even. We get something called the inner chaos scene, which handles, from what I remember, the ticking for the chaos physics. We're removing this PhysicsProxy off of it, and then we're setting it to uninitialized, and then we just reset the replicate data for this PhysicsProxy. So like, you know, clients and everything also don't have this data just like sitting in their shit. Then we can finally call this set rest collection with the current rest collection that we have, because again, we just want to reset it back to normal. You can change this to whatever you want, by the way. So if you have like another rest collection that you want to put in here, by all means. Then what I'm doing here is I am making it so that physics can work with it again. And you have to do this backwards ass way of like getting physics to work with a dynamic collection component. Once you do this like reset, you have to null out the owner component. Then you can set the simulated physics to true again, and then you can just restore the owner component back. I don't know why you have to do it, but you do. If not, this causes problems. Then we call this function here register and initialize PhysicsProxy. So what this does is it pretty much just makes the default parameters for the PhysicsProxy itself and just sets it onto the GeometryCollection component. So it does all this like fancy shit. You don't really need to worry about it at all. And yeah, once you do that, you're pretty much good to go. Now I did this in 2 parts. I originally had all of this at the end here, but I moved it into its own thing because I don't want this geometry collection component to be breakable until round start. So if you want collision on your geometry collection components again, what you have to do is you have to set its state back to what you wanted it to be, the object type. So basically you have to fill in all the like the collision parameters. If you need the notifies to work again, this is very important. If you need like any of the notifies, like if it breaks, removal, like collision, etc., you have to set it to true. You have to call this here, this on actor enable collision change, so it can update it. And then you have to call register for events. And what this will do is it will let the new PhysicsProxy know, hey, we want this to be usable again. And everything works. Yeah, this took so fucking long to find all this stuff. The easier way of doing this would be you just go in and you just reset the actor entirely. Like you just spawn out the actor and spawn it into its position. In doing so, there's a performance tax for it. I would have saved 30 hours doing it that way. But I learned a lot in doing this whole process. Bashing my head into my keyboard for many hours, just like reading through engine code. There might have been an easier way to fix this if I was able to edit the engine, like the actual source code of the engine, because where the problem was happening, it could have easily been avoided with just like an if statement that I could have just added right into it to skip over, or destroy my PhysicsProxy if it doesn't have any transforms, but you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so this took a long time, but we finally got it working now. And the end result is we have bridges that we can destroy the bottom. They tip over. I'll just show it. So, match starts. All that's good. I gotta make a better debugging tool for this map, so I can just like skip ahead of the prep round and everything. Be a lot easier. We break that, falls over. I'm gonna let the round end. You're going to see like everything reset. I also added in the removal on sleep because I initially thought that was it. I was like, oh shit, there's like particles like, or like pieces of the physics link. Did you see how that just fell through? I didn't set part of the collision correctly. Oh, no, I know what I did. So I set this as a two-parter, right? I need to make sure that I'm not enabling the physics until I actually enable all the collision on it. So like if I do this, I have to move all this down here too. I believe is the problem. This is the only change I made, was making this into like a two-parter. So real quick, let's actually just live code that. See if that's what's causing it. Dude, fucking geometry collections. I hate them, but I love them. So many goddamn problems. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a super long stream. I kind of just wanted to fill in everybody on where I've been for the past like 2 days now. But I hate streaming stuff where I spend a majority of the time just like going through like a difficult problem or like something I don't understand, and then I can't like produce anything within a time frame. I just don't want to waste your guys' time. I'd rather teach you things, and this is one of the things that I found out about. Alright, so let's see if this actually resets correctly now. I think we just have to delay waiting, or we have to delay the physics until round start. We should be good. Yeah, so we'll just destroy this. I mean, if it doesn't work, I'll show you how it's actually supposed to work, and I'll just set all the collision right at round end again. It's not a problem. So, player dies. Geometry collection respawns just fine. And then round start, it should be destroyable again, cause no crashes, and it should allow events to happen. So the bridge should be able to collapse again, or get triggered from us destroying that geometry collection again. Unfortunately, a lot of what was done, I do not believe you can do in blueprints. I think you actually have to manually put it in with C++ code. Yeah, there we go. It all works just fine. No crashes. I tested out the multiplayer as well. That looked good too. No problems there. I think the only thing I gotta worry about is fucking dead. Ooh, did we get a crash? Now this is a crash that would be outside of the problem we just had. No, okay. I just got hit by the map event. Alright, let's make sure that reset, and then I'll show the other things that I did in the meantime. Oh, found another bug. So I gotta reset the lighting and everything on the bridges too, on round end. Yeah, we're good. All right, so the only other things that I really did is somebody in chat came in last time and basically said that the map was a little bit small. And now I've been building this for probably about like 3 weeks, and I've been staring at it like every day. So changes like that, or like kind of those like weird inconsistencies, I never really like noticed. But they were like 100% right. So what I did was I scaled the map up by about like 25% or so. And everything fits a lot better. The travel time on the map like obviously increased because of that, but the map just looks like it fits the player a lot better. I also added in just basic details for the entrances and everything to the actual level itself. What else did I do? Lighting, I think I changed a little bit. Not really. I think I added in collision for the rocks and shit. We were falling through those. And I fixed the sound effects for the spawns. Okay, we got a crash. Chaos. Yeah, dude, I gotta be honest with you. The some of the shit with chaos has been causing some pretty bad problems. What is this one? On destroy physics state. Okay, so this is just when it's clearing the world and everything. I'm not going to worry about that now. I think that's just a crash from live coding, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this is pretty much all the code for like making your own custom geometry component that actually fucking works and doesn't break your game when you actually reset it. There's a bunch of like forum posts about this too, and I'm probably going to go back and answer the questions on those to help people out, because they still don't have answers to them, and this is the best way I have found personally to get this job done. I'm gonna start up the engine again. Yeah, so I mean, like, the only other thing that was done in between now and last stream was I just messed with like the sound and everything. Oh, I also found this fucking function too. And this is why people get paid money to, or like for their experience and everything, is for shit like this. I didn't realize that there was a completely separate like set relative function for rotation, and there's one called set relative rotation exact, and this actually does the conversion for us from the F rotator to F quad. And I don't know how I didn't fucking see this. It's literally right above it. But yeah, all it's doing is just calling the rotation dot, you know, actually can't fucking pronounce that word. Quaternion? You know what I mean. But the only reason they don't by default do this for you in the set relative rotation is because the conversion process from F rotator to F quad is actually like pretty costly, as you can see. So doing this like every frame for like a rotation would just like wreck your tick. So it's fine to do it when you're like resetting rotations and shit, but definitely not fine to do on every frame. What was the other thing? Pretty much it, honestly. Yeah, the audio got fixed. Tomorrow we're just going to be doing a bit of sculpting on the map. We're going to be turning the land from a complete flat area like it is now to something that's a little bit more sculpted. And possibly just correcting some of the texturing, like right here. These like jagged edges and everything. We also may increase the width of some of the ramps, like this one, for instance. So just like very basic editing. And then just adding in like a couple more like meshes or something. Then we'll be good. And then on to combat testing. There's a bunch of abilities that are not working correctly ever since we switched over to our projectile system. But yeah, I don't want to make this too long. It's probably already been like a half an hour. But I just want to give an update on what's going on. And yeah, tomorrow we're going to be... Let me look at what we got here. Yes, tomorrow. We're going to be fixing the abilities that are currently in the game. And then we have to create a dodge mechanic, which is going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to do the traditional way of just like having like stamina. I might give like charges that go onto like a cooldown, and I don't know if it's actually going to be a roll. I might do something where it's more of like a kind of like a phased dash or something like that. I mean, we'll see. Regardless though, it's going to be a dodge mechanic. I was thinking of adding blocking, but I think it'd be too broken in a projectile-based system. I've seen other games do it, and it just never feels good. It's either it actually never feels good, or just like never fucking used, because roll is just much more preferred. So yeah, that being said, I'll end it here. And I got a couple of forum posts to update with new information on this topic. Hopefully it helps some people out. That being said, wherever you are, have a great afternoon, or morning, evening, afternoon, night, and till tomorrow. Peace.